Okay, welcome back to our function part 2. So in this class, we're going to talk about how are we going to graph the function and what is vertical line test, what is horizontal line test, and the formula, how to use a formula to represent a function. And also we will talk about some toolkit function. All right, so the graph of a function. So you might see a coordinate plane that very often, which is like this one or something like this one or something like a circle. So we know that the x-axis is going to be our input and the vertical axis is going to be our output. I don't want to use x and y because as you see earlier in the last classes, we sometimes use n, we use q, we use h, we use y and k. It doesn't matter what number that we use, but the idea is the horizontal axis is going to be input, the vertical axis is going to be our output. For now, if you're really hard to understand, you can use x and y, x-axis and y-axis. Okay, so now please tell me which one is function. So if you remember, function, one input has to determine one output. So that means, what's that mean? If I give you an input, if x or the input equals to, let's say, -4, we will find her one output, maybe y equals to 3. So, okay, this is a function. Or this one, let's use a positive number. If x equals to 3, you will have what? Y equals to 2. This is also a function. Okay, so these two correct. So what about this one? Well, let's take a look. If I have one input, let's say x equals to 1, y equals to what? So y equals to either positive maybe 2.5 or y equals to -2.5. We talked about that, right? You don't want to order a mocha and then the teller gives you two different answers, tell you that, hey, one is $3, the other 2.70 cents. So that means the third one is not a function. Okay, so now here is the test. How do we determine which one is function, which one is not a function? The first thing we're going to learn today is a vertical line test. So a vertical line test is a handy way to think about whether the graph defines a vertical output as a function of the horizontal input. Imagine that you are drawing a vertical line through the graph. If any vertical line would cross the graph more than once, then the graph does not define one vertical output for each horizontal input. What does that mean? So that means if I draw in a straight line in here, let me use a, do you see this is a vertical straight line here? And now this line intersects the graph with 2 points. So that means this is not a function. So if any given vertical line intersect the graph more than 1 point, that graph is not a function. So now let's take a look at the other ones. Like this one, I draw any vertical line. It only intercepts the function once, right? For any line. Like even though I give you another one, it only intercepts once. Even though this one, it looks very close, but look, they only intersect with 1 point. So that means the first graph is a function. Similar in here, they only intersect with 1 point, it's a function. Another straight line. Again, they only intersect with the graph at 1 point, so it's a function. Okay. So if we have vertical line test, then we also have a horizontal line test. So what is a horizontal line test? It's a similar idea. If any given horizontal line not vertical. Intersect the graph more than 1 point, then that graph is not a one-to-one function. I'm going to tell you what is one-to-one function. So one-to-one function is, in our early example, remember that, hey, if we put in the menu, let's talk about the menu. If I want a grande, if I want a grande Java chips, then you're going to pay $2.19. Also, if you want to order a grande caramel espresso, also $2.19. So this is not a one-to-one function. So one-to-one function is each input you only corresponding one output. But now one input they corresponding the same output. So that means this is a function but not a one-to-one function. So what is one-to-one function? So that means everything is unique, just like your SSN. You give me your social security number, it will have your name. It's uniquely who you are. Or if I give you your ID number, it gives you what? Your name. The exact person, not necessarily the name, sometimes the name can repeat, but this is really rare cases. But what my point is, this is unique to you. If I give you my name, then you can find my SPSCC ID number, right? So this is a one-to-one function. If it's unique, such as your phone number, I think phone number is a better example. If a phone number, that means, hey, I dial this number, I will reach out to you. Or the other way is, hey, if I try to find you, I need to dial that cell phone number. So this is unique. If they have this two-way unique relationship, we'll call it one-to-one function. So let's recap this. A vertical line test is going to determine whether this is a function or not. A horizontal line test is going to find out if this is a one-to-one function. So now let's look at this example. So we don't need to check the number third because it's not a function. If it's not a function, how can you be a one-to-one function? Okay, so now we're just down to two graphs. Let's see if this two is a one-to-one function. So we draw a horizontal line. So look, this line intersect this graph. This is not horizontal enough. I can do a better one. Okay, you got my point. So this is a horizontal line, and then these intercept the function what? More than once. So that means this is a function, but not a one-to-one one function. So now let's take a look at this one. Well, horizontal line, I only intercept the function with 1 point. For any given horizontal line, I only intercept the function with 1 point. So that means this is a one-to-one function. Okay, so in today we introduced the graph of a function, and we also talked about what is a vertical and horizontal line test. In next classes, we're going to talk about formulas function and the toolkit function, those basic functions. I'll see you next time.